Now look, I know this video is like a few years late, but The Witcher 3 has been out for a while, and we're going to pretty much talk about how it holds up to time compared to older games and more modern games, and we're just going to see if it's still a masterpiece like everybody says. So this review is more of a relevant recent review for The Witcher 3 versus all of the reviews that came out right when the game came out. Because usually as time passes, people wake up more to like the quality of the game, and then they realize, hey, maybe this game wasn't as good as everybody said it was. So for The Witcher 3, I was late to the party because, well, I didn't have a gaming PC when the game came out, or maybe I had a gaming laptop. I don't know, but I know it couldn't run it at the time because it was really graphically demanding, even at 1080p when The Witcher 3 came out. So as time went on, I got a desktop gaming PC, and I was able to play the game in 4K. And I had a 4K TV, and everyone said how beautiful the world is. So I decided to download it on a Steam sale because I'm a cheapo like that. And I kind of fired it up. I played it just to see the graphics for maybe like the first level, and I was like, wow, this is really good. But then I kind of just strayed away. I didn't really play it for a few months. This was about a year ago when I was living in Arizona, and the weather just started changing and getting a little more intense, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to spend more time inside. So I just was like, might as well play the Witcher game. So I kind of started it over from scratch, and I mean, that wasn't that much. I maybe lost out on 30 minutes. So I started playing it, and I just cranked up the volume and just kind of lost myself in the world. The game doesn't really, I wouldn't say like it starts off slow. Like it starts off kind of fast and then it goes to slow, but then it builds up over time. So my biggest enjoyment for the game was the music. So the music in this game fits so perfectly with the world that like sometimes you'll just get stuck and you'll get lost in the music and just the background sound and the wind and the environment. Like, they put so much detail into this game, even to this day with today's standards in 2019, where you can just kind of stare at the sunset, look around the world, and just listen to the music, and it's just so relaxing. And like the voice acting, super great. Facial animations on some of the third-party characters could be a little bit better. But for the most part, like, this game, it is a masterpiece. So I would definitely go along the lines and say that it's probably one of the best games ever made, like everybody else says. See, I'm very, very critical and kind of, I wouldn't say a negative person. I don't want to sound, that sounds bad. But like, I'm very skeptical when people start saying this is the best movie ever made. I'm usually like, yeah, right, you probably got bad taste in games. Or this is the best movie ever made. I'm like, you probably got bad taste in movies. Like, usually that's kind of my first response. And so I'm like, I got to see so myself. So I finally, after several years, decided to test it out. And, like I said, it kind of started off slow, but then maybe an hour or two into the game, I was just hooked. I couldn't stop playing. I wanted to come home from the skate park or traveling or whatever and just sit down and put myself into this world, because they really, really just like give you this whole other dimension and world that you can go to, where a lot of other games, it's kind of just linear, and the other open world sandbox games that just you're all over the place. Like, it doesn't really like have personality to it, but The Witcher 3 definitely has like this whole personality to it. And again, when you crank up the graphics in 4K on a PC, put on Hairworks, download the texture packs, all of that stuff, like, this game is definitely really, really, really good in terms of graphics. Like, it still kind of has that slight plasticky last gen kind of look to it. I mean, it's definitely not like some crazy photorealistic engine like Crytek or like CryEngine or Unreal Engine 4. But like, in terms of the grass and the draw distance, and then those sunsets, like, obviously, like, they're over exaggerated sunsets, but some of them are realistic, because again, I lived in Arizona at the time, and so I guess maybe that's probably why I was really intrigued by the sunsets, because like I saw stuff like that on a regular basis. So, I mean, it is possible. The sunsets aren't just fantasy, but the characters, like, you actually care about the characters versus like other games, because other games you're just kind of like, okay, let's just get to the action. But this time, like, you don't mind hearing everybody talk. You don't mind hearing about their relationships, where I normally hate games that focus too much on that stuff. Like, I prefer, more of the action. Like, if there's a stealth game, I don't like being stealthy. I like to just run and gun and try to see what I can do. But this game, I don't know. I didn't even do all the quests. Like, I'm still working on it, and I just downloaded the DLC because I got the Game of the Year edition, and so I'm still working on that. So maybe I'll have a review for the DLC, but I've heard amazing things from that. But just the main start to finish story without spoilers, like, it really builds up. There's a few twists. There's just a lot of dynamics going on, and sometimes you just get sidetracked with the side quests, and you just don't even care that you're not a part of the main story. Where other games that I've done, like, I'll Google what is the main story to get this over with. I don't want to do side quests. I just want to do the main storyline. But this one, you're just kind of doing everything, and then eventually you'll go through the main story quests, but you don't care. You don't complain. So even years after this game came out, the story still really, really holds up. The voice acting, the characters, the world, everything that you see is just, it's mind-blowing. And then the maps are huge, and then you teleport to other maps. And I'm trying not to give out spoilers, but there are some very emotional parts. Like, there's one part in the game that, like, I almost cried at. And, like, it's pretty hard for a video game to make me cry because, I mean, they're video games. But, like, it's crazy. And then you can customize your own character, which is really great because it has that RPG element to it. So it's very good at, like, you can suit your own style of, like, how you want to play. And, you're constantly upgrading your weapons and your armor and all of that, which I didn't really think I'd be into a game like that. Like, that's not my style of game. If you look at my channel and you look at all the other games I'm playing, they're mostly like Nintendo stuff, first-person shooters, occasionally maybe like a Batman game or something. I did do BioShock, and I did like that, but The Witcher just takes that stuff to the next level, and it's insane. And sadly, there'll never be a Witcher 4, but, we can always hope for the Cyberpunk game. But I think the whole world of The Witcher may be even better than Cyberpunk, because, I mean, I do like futuristic tech stuff, but, like, again, it's the music, the characters, the wind, the grass, the graphics. I hate talking about graphics because this is mostly a story game. Even if you have low settings, play this game. The graphics don't really matter. Yes, they're beautiful, but, like, the story, like, you just have to play. And don't be one of those skeptical people that's always like, oh, I played The Witcher and I couldn't get into it. That game sucks. It's overrated. I don't know what's so great about it. Again, that's kind of what I thought the first few hours. But just play it from start to finish. At least don't do that DLC. You can just do start to finish on the main storyline and then give a judgment and then be critical of it. Because, yeah, there's a few graphical glitches. There's a few kind of storyline things that don't really make sense. But for the most part, like, just the whole package, it's genius. It's beautiful, and it's a work of art. And I really hate to sound like I'm one of those people that's just constantly all like, oh, like, just, jizzing all over this game or something, because I didn't really think I would be converted. Like, I'm very, very, very skeptical and don't really follow the masses. So I was actually surprised that I liked this, and I was like, wow, everybody's right. Like, probably the greatest game of all time. Like, I know I was, like, talking about how great BioShock Infinite was, and the first BioShock, and then a few others if you look at my other reviews. But this game, I feel like you guys have heard me just talk enough about how great it is. But, that's just my personal review on it. It's such a great game. It's a good-looking game. The story is amazing. The combat can be a little bit clunky at times, but, you kind of just get used to it. And you can overlook it because, like, you're able to customize your character and your weapons and all that other stuff. So I'd recommend playing it if you've played The Witcher 3. And if you've beaten The Witcher 3, let me know in the comments, like, what you thought about it and how it maybe compares to The Witcher 1 and The Witcher 2, because I've only played a little bit of those two games, and I don't know if it's worth going into it. Like, I did play a little bit of the second one, and it was pretty fun. But then I jumped over to The Witcher 3, and I'm just like, how is any game going to top this? So in terms of stories and worlds, The Witcher 3 kind of ruined video games for me. So, you know, that's probably why I haven't been gaming as much on this channel, because it's just, it just takes things to the next level. So I think maybe my next video, I'll have me kind of just playing around on the DLC and do like a 10-minute walkthrough video or something, and you guys can just see it. It won't be a live stream, but it'll be in 4K, and it'll just be a fun little adventure of us going around together. And if you have played the DLC, leave a comment about like your rating on it. You know, would you give it a 10 out of 10, 8 out of 10? Like, which is the better DLC? Just let me know which DLC you prefer. But don't give away any spoilers, please, because I don't like watching other gameplay videos. I like to just see new stuff for myself. Like, I try to shield myself. So that's my thoughts on The Witcher 3. It really does live up to the hype. I give it an 11 out of 10. You know, hate to sound like everybody else, but even to this day, years later after the game came out, it is still just a masterpiece. So subscribe, and I'll be trying to crank out more videos, because now there's some sunlight coming out, because here in Portland, Oregon, there's not much, and I don't really have any like artificial light, so I have to rely on the sunlight through the big windows to help the lighting for my videos. And I should have the DSLR cranked up, because I got a new memory card, and hopefully that fixes the problem. So instead of this webcam and everything, we should have like some good quality little camera in the corner stuff for videos and future stuff. So yep, subscribe, and thank you for all the new subscribers that have been subscribing for the past few months without me cranking out a video. I guess you liked my other videos, so I really appreciate that, and I'm gonna start trying to push out some more stuff, and then maybe some more tech stuff. I did get a GoPro, so maybe I'll do a tech review on this, because this is a tech channel. I have been using it on my skateboarding channel, so there are some test things on that. So that's Phase Skater, just one word. That's the channel name, so go check it out there. But yeah, thank you.